Welcome to the Get Inspired with Gerd show, brought to you by Gerd's Handel. Join us each week to be inspired, informed and uplifted with some of the most inspirational and motivational guests from around the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired.
Hello and welcome to Get Inspired with Gerds. I'm your host and today I have a beautiful guest with me who's proven that it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you can transform your health around. And it's also important to listen to your intuition because not all of us are going to have the same health problems or we're going to like the same foods or our bodies are going to agree to the same things. And too often we're kind of told, if you've got health problem, maybe take this or take that, but we've got to listen to our body and what it's saying. And this person that I'm having on the show today, she's just unbelievable. She personally transformed her own health around. She was told that she had MS. They weren't really sure how to change it. She was also told that she potentially could have a brain tumor. And when she realized that it was actually her mindset and her health that was damaging her, she transformed it around, to the point that she even ran her first triathlon after 7 months. And she also lost 2 stone. She's now helping hundreds of people to do exactly the same, to lead a better, healthier lifestyle. She is just unbelievable. Sokhi, you're absolutely amazing. She's a natural health practitioner. She has over 13 years of experience helping people. She specialises not only in healing, meditation, massage, lymph drainage and nutrition. Leah, it's an absolute pleasure having you on my radio show and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
Bless you, Leah. Well, the first time I met you and, you told me your personal story, it was just unbelievable. I was so inspired. Can you tell the listeners what your life was like before you turned towards raw food?
Sure. I was already vegan, but not a very healthy vegan. And I was also quite stressed out and I was slowly getting worse and getting symptoms of MS. Wow. And even before I went to the doctors, I thought I had MS because I was having cramps in my legs. I was starting to put on weight. I was feeling very toxic. I was having weird nervous system kind of symptoms and just increasingly feeling worse and worse every day. And when I went to the doctors, they were just like, yeah, it seems like you probably have MS or maybe even a brain tumour. And they started giving me tests. And I was also quite depressed, but chemically depressed. Like my whole nervous system felt like it was shutting down.
Wow. So what was the turning point for you to transform your health around?
Well, because I was already a practitioner in the natural health industry, I felt whatever they tell me it is, I want to help to heal it naturally. I don't want to take any drugs. But I wanted them to at least tell me what it was. And they kept doing tests and scans. And eventually they just came back and said, we have no idea what it is. We've ruled out MS and we've ruled out a brain tumour. We're at a loss. We have no idea. And they basically just said to me, go away. We can't help you. And that was I know, it was ridiculous. I was like, nothing. And they're like, well, we could possibly do some other tests, but basically we can't help you, go away. And at that point, I could barely feel my left leg. I was falling over, like blacking out, and I could barely swallow. So every day it was getting worse. It's like, well, I'm going to be in a wheelchair, like tomorrow if I don't do something now. So that point, I remember seeing the doctors, and that point was just like, well, sod you, I'm going to get myself better. And I'd already been vegan, you kind of heard about raw food and I'd heard about it curing diabetes and cancer. So I thought there must be something in it and it must be able to help me as well. So virtually kind of overnight, I started cleansing my diet. I cut out dairy. I'd already cut dairy, but wheat. I cut out sugar, which I was also having, and just started juicing. I started introducing superfoods and very quickly I started feeling a lot better. And within 7 months of doing that and exercising and using other natural methods, I was completely symptom free and I'd also lost 2.5 stone in weight as well.
Wow, that's unbelievable. What did you learn during that period about your kind of health and your body itself?
Mostly that I was very toxic, partly because of the stress and partly because of the food as well. And so I felt that, doing the cleansing, and I wasn't even 100% raw, but basically it's cleaning out your diet and just making sure that you're having enough nutrients, really good supplements so you're nourishing your body. Like my nervous system was really burnt out from years of being very stressed and having a poor diet. So I had to build back my nervous system with good fats like chia seeds and coconut oil really helped a lot. And I also felt that having a goal, so I told myself I was going to do a triathlon, even though I couldn't actually walk at the time and I'd never done one before. So that mindset of like, I'm going to get better, and I visualize myself crossing the finish line. I started running even though I couldn't really walk. I just started visualizing and preparing myself to get ready. And I think that's the key thing, that people have to decide to get better and you have to just take your power back.
Wow. So what were you kind of eating on a daily basis? So when you first kind of started on the raw diet?
I was juicing. I was having a lot of salads, smoothies, things like sushi rolls. I was having like vegan stuff. I did even try eating meat for a while when I was really ill because people said, oh, it's because you've been vegan for a while, but that just made me feel really sick.
Yeah.
So when I was doing the raw stuff, I know it felt disgusting and I didn't like it, but I was just so desperate at the time. But then when I was in the raw stuff, I just felt so good. I felt so much energy. I was having lots of like things like sauerkraut, seaweed really helped as well, hemp protein powder, lots of superfoods like spirulina and chlorella and things like that. Really helped a lot.
Wow. And when you went back to the doctors, what did they say?
I didn't go back.
What?
I should have done to say, look what happened, but I didn't even bother going back. Thought there's no point. When I know previous people who have done a similar thing, when they've gone back, they just shrug their shoulders and go, oh, maybe it's a coincidence.
Wow. Just hearing your story is just unbelievable because it just makes me realise that food is so powerful. Like what our bodies are so natural. So if we're feeding it with natural, unhealthy kind of foods, we're kind of bound to get sick. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our bodies are actually quite strong. Like, people can eat McDonald's a lot and still survive, just about. But generally, the more you put bad stuff into your body, your body can't withstand it for a long time. If it's really acidic, really toxic over time, we're going to develop health style diseases. And like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, like the biggest killers. And they're all linked to lifestyle, which is what we eat, whether we smoke or drink, what kind of stress levels we have, not exercising. So your body can only really withstand good health for a certain amount of time. So, and also food has changed so much in the last 50 years. It's so much more toxic. And also the nutrient levels in food have changed so much. So a lot of the food that we eat is actually about half, if not less, filled with nutrients. So we're constantly depriving ourselves and constantly toxicating ourselves with food. And so it's no wonder that most people are now getting so sick.
It's interesting you say that because I've personally noticed that when I was a child and I used to go to the supermarket or even like the markets, you could smell a tomato, you could smell an orange, you could smell a banana. But now when you go into these shops, you don't smell them. You can't smell anything at all.
No, absolutely not. I mean, tomatoes are a prime example. If you get like a genetically modified tomato, it's pink for one, and it doesn't taste of anything. It's like water, isn't it? If you get a real fresh organic tomato, it tastes, it smells, it's bright red, it's juicy. It's just completely different.
Wow. So, Maddie, you went on this journey, you changed your health around. What was the next step for you after that?
The next step was I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was like, almost like a little bit quite angry. Like, what if I hadn't have done this? What if I hadn't taken it on myself? What about all the other people that are in this situation? Because I knew quite a lot of people who had actually MS. And my grandmother actually had an MS type illness and died. And so I was just like, well, this is ridiculous. I need to help other people who have been through a similar thing. And so I started looking around and I found a raw food course who was training you to be a raw food chef and a raw food coach. And also by that point, I was getting a little bit bored of salads and smoothies. And I was just like, wow, this is really interesting. I can make cake and chocolates and, pasta out of raw things. This is really interesting. And so that was my next journey of learning and training how to be a chef. And then coming back to the UK, I trained abroad at that point because there weren't that many courses around, and came back and just started doing workshops and talks and retreats for people and just showing and empowering other people to saying, look, you can change your life. Obviously, most people aren't as ill as I was, but prevention is better than cure. Even if you're just feeling tired and you just feel like your diet needs a change, just being able to have, recipes and simple things that you can do at home to transform your diet makes such a difference.
Wow. So, you're now a natural health practitioner. What have you been sharing with people? I know you're saying you're sharing, your experiences and you've been doing workshops, but what is it in those workshops that you're sharing with people?
I share a lot of recipes and how to make certain foods, and I specialise in making things really simple. Like there's a lot of fancy equipment out there that you don't really need, like making things that are just sustainable just with a blender or just using your oven to dry things out. So I try and make it really simple for people just to transition from a normal, so to speak, diet into just going like vegan, plant-based, cutting out most of the toxic foods and having more raw. You don't have to go 100% raw, but just adding more nutrients into your diet every day. And I also help people on an emotional level as well, because changing your diet can bring up food addictions, problems, and it can bring up emotions and also healing that needs to be done. So there's a lot of things that also underline.
What's your viewpoint? Because I hear a lot of people saying, vegetarian isn't always great, that you should add fish into your diet. What's your kind of viewpoint on that?
I don't think we need meat at all. I think if you're a poor vegetarian or a poor vegan, then obviously you can get problems, but then even meat eaters are very ill as well. So I think you just got to replace, and fish in particular has good fats in it. So as long as you're eating plant-based good fats for your diet, it's really important. So coconut oil, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds are really good. So as long as you're having those kind of things, it's going to make a difference. I know somebody who's a vegetarian, and the only thing that they had apart from vegetables, the most thing they ate was cheese sandwiches.
What?
And they were like, oh, it's because I was vegetarian, I was really ill. I was like, I think anybody would be ill if they just ate cheese sandwiches.
Random cheese sandwiches. It's odd. And what kind of like responses have you received since helping people?
Huge. Losing weight, obviously, reduction in pain. I help quite a few people who have got like illnesses, fibromyalgia, and their pain reduces. They sleep better. Their digestion improves massively just from cutting out certain things and replacing certain things. I don't expect people to completely transform their diet and cut everything out. It's just about replacing certain things. So key things like cutting out wheat, dairy, or just choosing better options like organic options and more pure and natural forms can make such a difference to your digestion and your weight.
So, my dear, you're now also the founder of Rawfest. Can you tell the listeners more about this?
Absolutely. So 5 years ago now, it's been the 5th one this year.
Wow.
I wanted to share it more, obviously share some inspiration more, and also share other experts in it as well. So I set up this festival, which basically people come in and they learn. So it's a festival, so there's music and there's dance and things like that. But the key thing is they come and they learn and experience amazing full vegan food. So we've had amazing experts come from all over the world. Some people from America, some people in Europe, coming in and teaching people their experiences. Like some people have been raw for like 25 years and they run their own retreat centres. Some people have been doing fasting. Some people are really into fitness and training. So it's a huge array of different experts. So people can come in and experience lots of different people.
Amazing. And what's your favourite kind of topic at Rawfest?
My favourite topic? Oh, I don't know. Everything's so amazing. I don't really know. I haven't got a favourite.
I have a cheeky favour to ask, if that's okay.
Sorry?
I have a cheeky favour to ask, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Would it be possible to maybe share one of your smoothie recipes with the listeners?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So one of my favourite smoothie recipes is an orange and then some greens. So spinach is quite a good one to start with. Kiwis taste really nice. They're quite tangy. And if you're just starting out, it's okay to have things a little bit sweeter than usual. So you could probably pop in a couple of dates. And you can put in either hemp milk or hemp seeds, which makes a nice milk and it makes it quite creamy. And if you like avocado, want it even more creamy, you can add that as well. And just blend it together in a normal blender. It tastes really nice.
And can you leave that in the fridge for a day, or is it just you'd have to drink it there and then?
It's always best to drink it there and then. You can blend it and then put it in an airtight container as much as possible, and then it can last a few hours. But it's best to have it as fresh as possible.
Interesting. Okay. And my dear, what are your kind of 5 top tips for someone who's trying to transform their health around?
Okay, so the biggest one I would say is to go organic. A lot of our food is full of pesticides, and non-organic food also tends to be more hybridized and genetically modified and over-farmed. So the nutrient level is also very different. So if you can go for organic, ideally from like a local supplier, local farm, that's the best thing to do. Even if you don't change anything else, that in itself I think will make people feel a lot better. And it doesn't have to be more expensive. Some people say that it is, but generally it isn't. Especially if you go for the local farms, it's a lot cheaper actually than the mainstream food. And you'll notice the quality, the difference in the quality is going to be incredible. Then the next thing I'd say is replace and cut out the most toxic foods. And these are sugar, dairy, wheat, meat, and also processed foods like false things, maltodextrin and sweeteners and things like that. And all of these things can be replaced with healthier alternatives. And it doesn't have to be extreme. Like the sugar, you can just go to brown sugar to start with, or you can go for coconut palm sugar or honey or something similar like that. There's just a natural version of the pure white sugar. Dairy, I mean, there's so many dairy alternatives now. It's amazing. You can have almond milk. You can have almond ice cream even. Ben & Jerry's apparently are bringing out an almond ice cream. You heard that? Yeah, seriously. It's probably still not that good for you because being Ben & Jerry's, but I'm sure it's definitely an improvement. Wheat as well. Wheat, the general wheat nowadays is so genetically modified. A lot of people are reacting to it. And it also has a lot of like mold preservatives and all those kind of things, and the people are really acting to those. So going gluten and wheat free can really help a lot of people. Meat generally, again, is very toxic. So if you are going to eat meat, go for organic, grass-fed wherever possible, or go for vegan and vegetarian alternatives. And the process, just go for as natural as possible, natural herbs, natural flavourings. There's plenty out there. Health food shops have an array of different things like tamari sauce and miso and those kind of things. Then my next one is to drink loads of water and pure water. So being in London tap water is obviously pretty toxic. So either have a water filter or choose like glass bottled water wherever possible. Just really look into getting the purest, the best water that you can and drink lots of it. My next one is to have smoothies and juices every day. And they both have their benefits. But if you can every day have a smoothie or a juice at least once a day, that will just really, it's almost like having an extra supplement in your diet. It's like giving your body a big boost of natural, fresh ingredients. It's so easy and they taste really nice. So if you can just start on that, you'll start feeling a lot better. And my final one, the fifth one, is to relax, de-stress, because that can build up toxins in your body as well. And move your body, like breathe, move, stretch, wherever you can.
Amazing. I love those 5 top tips. Thank you, my dear. And what about, I know, the 5 top tips helping people just become more healthier, but what about somebody who's thinking of going from being a meat eater to raw food? What would be your suggestion to somebody who's kind of thinking about that at the moment?
My suggestion is always to transition slowly. Like I've done it really quickly and it's quite shocking for your body. And it makes it quite difficult, and it just is long term. It's not very good for your body to keep doing things very quickly. So I've learned the hard way. It's much easier to do things gradually and slowly. And the more you clear out your body, and the more you give it nutrients, kind of filled, nourishing things, your body will actually tell you what's going on, and then you won't want the other stuff. So if you do it slowly and gently, actually, it'll just be really simple. I know a few people that have just naturally not even thinking about going vegetarian or vegan, but they're just naturally eating better and eating clean food. They just naturally ended up going vegetarian and almost vegan because their body knows that it doesn't want the meat, it doesn't want the toxic ingredients.
It's interesting you say that because that's what kind of happened to me. It was kind of overnight. I just decided to quit meat. However, I realised I'd done it about 12 years ago or longer, and it didn't work well. So this time around, I actually, like you said, I kind of slowly took meat out of my diet. So it'd be one meat first and another. And actually I found that I didn't feel like ill like I did last time.
Yeah, you can quite often go for a detoxing effect. I mean, obviously, if you're suddenly diagnosed with cancer or something like that, then it's probably a good idea to switch your diet pretty quickly. But generally, if you're relatively healthy, but you do want to make a change, just do it gently and slowly, and you'll find that it's just nice and sustainable and it's really easy. A few people have said to me, and they're kind of moaning, going, "Oh God, I tried eating a pizza the other day and I felt really sick thanks to you." That's just your body, you clean your body out and then you give it something that you used to eat all the time. Your body just goes, yeah, I don't want that, thank you.
That is so true. My dear, we are coming towards the end of the show. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you? Do you have any events that are happening soon?
Yep, absolutely. So the Raw Fest is coming up this July. It's the 29th to the 31st of July.
Amazing.
And it's in Berkshire, which is just 1 hour from London. And it's people can camp for the weekend or they can just come along for the day. We're going to have hundreds of people there, lots of stalls, lots of talks, yoga, amazing raw vegan food, foraging, lots of things going on. So you can find out that on the website, which is www.rawfestuk.com. We also have a newsletter as well, so we can let you know recipes and free health advice and all the other latest events coming up. And also myself, I'm running a Raw Transformation Programme from the 4th of February, which is an 8-week programme basically helping people to transition.
Amazing. So when's that date again, you said?
It's the 4th of February.
And where can they find out more information about that?
They can find that through the Raw Fest website, or they can go to my website as well, which is liasokhi.com, which is liasokhi.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much for just being yourself and just showing that it is possible to transform your health around. And my kind of last question is, who was your biggest inspiration when you were trying to turn over to raw food?
My biggest inspiration was Kate Magic.
Oh, who's that?
She's been doing raw for like 20 years plus now. She
Wow.
runs a raw food company called Raw Living as well. They do amazing supplements and superfoods and things. And she really inspired me because making simple food really interesting. And also she'd been doing it for 20 years. So she had learned a lot of kind of like what to do, and kind of teaching people how to do it, and also follow your intuition. I'm a big believer that everybody is different. So even though I give people advice on their diet, you've got to follow your own body. Because some people are, can do 100% raw all the time, and some people are just maybe not right for their body type. Or you've got to do things slowly. So everyone's very different, and always listen to your intuition.
It's interesting you say that, because when I suffered with IBS when I was really young, the specialists kind of made me take things out of my diet, and I remember saying to them it's not working, and they said this is the right way. So I 100% absolutely agree with you. And when I kind of followed my own kind of gut, I realised what was working for me and what wasn't.
Absolutely. It's so important, because you can't prescribe somebody a particular diet. Like some people are like, oh yeah, this is the diet that you need to do. It's like, well, maybe that worked for them. But everybody's very different. Like raw food, especially, a lot of the books and stuff are written by people who live like in the tropics or California, somewhere where it's really hot. So it's very different climate and different food than we have if you're living in like England, which is freezing cold, and we don't get fresh fruit very often. So again, seasonally, body type, it's very different. So you've got to follow your own body all the way.
No, thank you for my idea for that. Thank you for just being on the show and just sharing that with everybody. You're an absolute inspiration in what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. I love the person that you are, my dear. And definitely, what was the website again? Just so then the listeners know where to go.
Yeah, it's Leah Sokhi, which is liasokhi.com.
Perfect, my dear. Well, I'll definitely speak to you soon. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, what an amazing interview with the beautiful Leah. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about how it's so simple to transform your health around, because for a lot of people out there, they're not really sure what to do. And if any of you guys are out there and you're not really sure, do check out Leah's website. I personally transformed my own health around. I used to be a meat eater, and about 2 years ago, I decided to go on the journey of being a vegetarian. And it's taught me a lot about what my body does like and what my body doesn't like, and if my body's not happy with something. So do try and see if you can find a way to just be a bit more healthier, because you will have more energy and passion in your life if you do. And unfortunately, it's the end of the show. Just before I head off, don't forget you can find me on Twitter at IamGurds. That's IamGurds. You can also find me on Facebook at Get Inspired with Gurds, where I'll be bringing you lots of inspirational, motivational quotes, but also videos and also lots of other inspiring things to just keep you inspired to lead a better life. And also check out my book on Amazon, which is called Educo, which is EDUCO, and it's 52 quotes for leading a better life. And this week, I want to leave you with this quote. You have to get to the point where you love your body and yourself enough to take care of it. Because if you don't, you will damage yourself. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Join us each week to be inspired, informed and uplifted with some of the most inspirational and motivational guests from around the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired.